And now I try the Pit Shark. It's been a long time since I used one of these. Maybe it's for good reason. So, I'm going to be doing belt squats, and that means that I got to use my weightlifting shoes, and you'll notice actually that they have an extra lift in them from VersaLift. And the reason is that you don't want your ankle mobility to limit your depth. And as a matter of fact, to at least a point, the more heel support you have, and the more you're essentially on your toes, but with a good heel support, the further forward you can push your knees at the bottom of the motion, which is very good for the quadriceps because they grow precisely in that position of the most flexion that you can put them into. So it's really, really good. Technically the most extension for the most knee joint flexion, thus the most stretch of the quadriceps muscle. So that's really good to do. The weightlifting shoes are, I think, one of the most, I want to say underrated. I guess underrated in the different definition of the word. Underrated in the sense that so few people use them in bodybuilding training and trying to get jacked that very few people actually rate them at all. It's not that they're rated poorly or rated lower than I think they should. It's just most people don't even know they exist. You got this heel, everything's super stable. It allows you to stay more upright in all of your movements, use less of your back and more of your legs. It allows you to get deeper on leg presses, hack squats, lunges, belt squats, anything you want. So weightlifting shoes, highly, highly recommended if you're serious about training quads. I know that a lot of folks trained with flat sole shoes. And the reason you do that is because it maximizes your leveraging for low bar squatting and maximizes leverage for high bar as well. And the leverage means that you can lift more weight by putting your knees through a smaller range of motion. Sit back while sitting down, which is a very good way to squat as much weight as possible. But when you're sitting back, you're actually sitting away from your quads getting the most tension. So you notice that powerlifters will squat with flat soles, and they'll try to squat back and down like this. Weightlifters generally squat down and forward, so you get that full flexion effect. So if you put on weightlifting shoes, prepare to get weaker in the short term, or put better, prepare not to be able to use as much weight for all the exercises you're used to, because their weightlifting shoes are going to leverage you to go deeper, which is harder, and to use more of your, to put your quads in a more precarious position as a limiting factor. Basically like taking your quads to task. And because that's a thing that happens, we can't use as much weight. Let's see if I can rig something here that doesn't kill me. I'm a short king, so there we go. There we go. All right. Yeah, not bad. Feels comfy. You guys will notice that I'm going to be trying to descend very slowly, controlling the eccentric and milking it out for maximum amount of gain. And I'm going to pause at the bottom, sit there for a second or two, because getting a huge load while the muscle is under stretch is a real big stimulus for hypertrophy. And because I make the reps challenging on the way down, and I make them challenging at the bottom, it gets me a lot of growth. And it reduces how much weight I have to use to get that same growth. Which means, first of all, technically speaking, though your joints are quite resilient, less wear and tear on your joints, more focus on the muscles, and also less of an acute risk of injury, because the more weight you lift absolutely, the more of a probability, though always low, but climbing, there is of like, you move a big enough weight once, you could get hurt. So controlling the tempo on the way down, taking a nice long pause, helps in a really cool way both reinforce growth and also helps to reduce the risk of injury. And I like to think that that's pretty neat, because a lot of the trade-offs we have to make in lifting are kind of unfortunate, because say, well, you know, if I want to reduce my risk of bad things happening, I'll have to settle for sort of poorer results. But if you can find a way, like controlled eccentrics, slower controlled eccentrics, and bottom pauses that simultaneously increase the magnitude of stimulus while decreasing the sort of net risk exposure, geez, you got to take that and run. So anytime I see bodybuilders in gyms doing like explosive movements, especially no control on the way down, especially bouncing out of the bottom position, my big thought is like, yeah, that's cool, but you could get more kind of for less if you think about it. More growth for less injury exposure. Let's see how this feels here. Jesus. I think somebody, whoever designed the Pit Shark, no offense, is really just made it so you can use like an infinite amount of weight. I have the another belt squat at home, and it is the, oh, what the hell is his name? Matt Wenning. I have the Matt Wenning Strength belt squat, and on that one, I need 2 plates aside. I can do sets of about 20 reps, and it cooks my ass. I'm already up to 3 plates on a side here, and that's, I don't know, I can kind of do an infinite number of these here, so time to go to 4 plates. In a sense, it's like, it's cool when you can use a lot of weight on a machine because you feel all proud of yourself and shit, but at the end of the day, it's kind of neat when they make machines that you can't use a lot of weight on, so you have to load fewer plates on the fucking thing. For example, that right there in the corner, the red thing, the Elite leg press. I've used that at Crocs gym, and you know, I typically leg press at least 5 plates, more often 6 for reps. I was doing, first time I tried 3 plates on there, I was like, oh my god. And I eventually worked up to like, I think 4 or something, but it was really cool because the device itself is so heavy, it's more vertical, that it ends up being like, well, you don't have to put on as much weight. When you get big and strong, like me, your hero, you're kidding, it just gets annoying. It just gets annoying to put on a lot of weight. So it's cool to show off, like when you're starting out, when that cute girl's at the gym and you want to show her your alpha gorilla and that you can lift all the weights, that's sweet. But after a while, when you only care about bodybuilding and not girls, what is at a strange time. And you want to lift less weight. All right. See how this feels. Big thing about belt squats is you gotta kind of wiggle around, move your feet up, down and about each way you can in order to find out where it's gonna feel more comfortable. That feels pretty good. Free myself from the whole contraption this time. That felt good. I think working weight should be about 5 plates. And I'm going to aim to get something like probably around 20 reps on the first set. And I'm going to use a technique called my rep match. This technique is a great way to accumulate a lot of volume in training, especially for muscle growth, really only for muscle growth. And in addition to that, it can accumulate a lot of volume for you and also allow you to have many approaches to failure, more than you normally would get in the same amount of volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a set of 20-ish reps first, normal straight set, and then after that I am going to do my next set with the same goal as the first. So let's say I get 18 reps on the first set. I'm going to go with a goal of 18 total reps in the second. I'll be more tired, so I might not be able to do that. I might be able to only get 14 reps. Then what I do is I take a pause at the top, rest 2 to 5 seconds, shake it out, and then do some more reps to get to 18. Eventually, if I'm doing 4 or 5 sets of this at the end of the mesocycle, it will be 18, 18, 18, 18, 18, all the way down the line. Except every time you get more tired for each set, you have to have more rest breaks in each set, which means in the first set, you approach failure at the end just once. The second set, you may do it twice. In the third set, 3 or 4 times. Fourth set, question mark number of times. That number of approaches to failure and that consistent addition of volume, it's a big deal. So if there's an exercise you're trying to maximize the amount of work you're doing, minimize the time investment, really increase the efficiency, this is a good way to try. It works mostly in exercises without a huge systemic component, especially cardiovascular component. Because if you lock out on a squat and you want to rest for another 4 reps, the sheer load down on you and the degree to which it sort of impinges your breathing is going to mean that you won't get the fatigue to dissipate. It's just going to keep going up. So you're going to do 12 reps and you're like, all right, 4 more. Fuck that. And then you rack, and I didn't think that through. But on a belt squat, it's just lower body only. When I lock my knees out, it's actually going to be super comfy to just stand around and it'll be all good. So enough talk. Let's do some sets. The app is asking me to rate my Nordic curl experience. So I'll say I had no joint pain. I got a moderate pump. It's 2 sets. It was easy as hell. So just save that shit. And now I'm on to belt squats. And we'll see how that goes. Ooh. Great brand. Reps, a bit much load. I'll just keep going. Ugh. 15. We'll do 18 total. That seems good. Ugh. Not bad. Not bad at all. Whew. So you guys will notice I did 18 total reps, and I did take a few rest pauses within the set. I typically won't do that for my rep match. So this makes this technically just my reps, but I will match it on the next set and do another 18. Good pump, comfortable setup. You'll notice that I was going intentionally very slow on the way down. On the way up, just whatever quickly returns me back to the top position, because the concentric contraction of muscle, we have pretty good reason to believe, does stimulate growth, but probably not as important as the eccentric. So you'll notice I descend in a measured way. You will see pain on my face when I do. And the upside there is I also pause for like 1 or 2 seconds at the bottom, which is not a very comfortable place to sit. So if you're doing this yourself, when you hit that bottom position, you're going to be like, the hell am I doing down here? Why don't I just not return down here? But it is true in many pursuits, often, that difficult and uncomfortable things are the thing that yield the results that you're looking for, change. Positive change generally happens through difficulty. I wish it happened through ease. In some sense, you know, if you like your job a lot, it's pretty seamless and then you make money. That's nice. Training, still have to earn a little bit. So something that my friend Jared and I, Jared Feather is an IFB pro. He has his own YouTube channel. Is blowing up, as the kids would say. Check him out. But him and I always like to say, especially when we train other people, certainly when we train each other, that you have to reframe your mentality a little bit when you're coming into the gym. And at least a few different mentalities you can have. I'll talk you through them while I'm resting here. And then I promise I'll shut the hell up and just go right back to training. Shut up and train, nerd. Nobody wants to see this. The mentality you have typically in your daily life, which you should have, is of comfort seeking. If you're sitting in your chair at work like this, and one of your butt cheeks starts to hurt, you don't like keep typing. You're like, fuck that butt cheek training. I want the pain. It's nonsense. It's going to distract you from work. So you shift, and then you sit in a more comfortable position. Makes total sense. when you go in the gym, you have to switch that mentality. And you have a few choices. One choice you have if you're doing power training, Olympic weightlifting, jumping, sport training, is what I like to call kind of the athletic show-off mentality. Like, I'm about to bust the roof off this motherfucker. Shit's going to get crazy. I'm going to prove I'm an athlete. Watch this. I'm going to move fast. I'm going to be smooth. And that's great stuff. Power training usually doesn't hurt. It's not enough reps, not close enough to failure. So you're just showing off. And that's not a bad thing. It's important, because if you don't go there to, as is hood parlance, to show out, you don't really get as many advantages, because we know from research that if you train much under 90% of your peak power output, you don't actually get more power improvements from that in most circumstances. You just get more, essentially, junk volume. It's like the weight's not heavy enough to make you stronger, but you're moving it too lazily to make you faster. So that's one mentality. It's like the athlete mentality. The other mentality you can take into the gym, which is very good for strength training, is the kind of live or die warrior mentality. And that's like, load that shit. Load my 3RM. It's going for 4. I don't care if I live or die. I don't care if you have to peel me out of that thing afterwards. I'm giving all of my body and brain's total ability to those repetitions. I could care less if I live or died. Fucking turn up the metal, gangster rap, have a DJ mix together, put that right into my brain somehow. Give me my belt and watch me work. An amazing mentality. That fearlessness is required to lift big weights. Your boy's not on that shit. I'm a little bitch. You won't see me next to 200-pound dumbbells because I don't want to tear my little pecs. They would hurt. But if you want to bench the 200-pound dumbbells, you want big squat, bench, deadlift, every time you come to the gym to hit big weights, you got to put on your fucking work hat. And that means, like, when you feel the fear of failing, when you feel the fear of injury, you got to understand, at some philosophical level, warriors don't give a shit. You are a machine. You are a weapon. You're an offensive force. It's not designed for civilized places. You are uncivilized. You're brutal. And you have one mission, and that's to just break that bar into 50 million fucking pieces. If you can channel that mentality to whatever small extent or large extent, you're going to have a good time at the gym. First of all, psychologically, it's fun. Second of all, you will lift the weights that your body is capable of, so you'll know you're not leaving anything in the tank. The last mentality, which is the one I'm about to channel here in 30 seconds, is the bodybuilding mentality, or hypertrophy training mentality. Yeah, we got the whole hypertrophy app. Sign up now, link in bio. Is there a link in bio? I'm kidding. There's a producer in the back. She's like, shut up. You're saying the wrong stuff. We're going to kick you out. Sherry tried to kick me out a few times. I hung on to the door. So in hypertrophy training and muscle growth training, the big emphasis that you can take mentally into the gym with you that helps a lot, and this is what Jared and I talk about, is you didn't come to show off. You're here to hit a prescribed number of reps, some RIR, which is like a lame concept for nerds. It works really well, but you also just have to like pick a number that you did last week, add 5 pounds or a rep to it, and just hit it again. There's no glory in that shit, right? It's like, storm the gates. Just kidding. Just stop 50 yards short of the gates and just set up camp. Just hang out there. That's really stupid. It's a different mentality, and the mentality is this. You have a certain number of sets and reps to hit, and the guaranteed thing you will encounter on your way in is pain. And it's pain of a specific kind. It's pain of your muscles physically micro-tearing, and also, much worse, of the metabolic byproducts searing in your muscles, the burn. And like, it's all fun and good until that shit gets really, really insane, and you're like, what the hell am I even doing here? Why am I doing this to myself? There's no athleticism. It's not like a power training. There's no glory. It's not strength training. It's just fields and fields and fields of pain. That's where the mental shift happens. And a lot of people who are great at being normal humans, number one requisite of your life, great at power athletics, great at strength athletics, have to flip a switch they're not used to flipping. And here's the switch. The pain is something you typically want to avoid. You don't feel pain in your normal life. If you do, you switch. Power training, you shouldn't feel any pain. Strength training, like God's physical fucking energy is so riveting through your body that you can't feel pain. Sure shit, not until after you get off. You're like, oh, my shoulder. During, you won't feel shit if you're doing it right. unless you get hurt, don't get hurt. In hypertrophy training, the pain is the stretch of the muscles under tension and the micro tearing, as well as the metabolite accumulation. And also sometimes just the nuisance of having to breathe heavy. All of those things, especially the first two, are mechanistically causing muscle growth. So to put it another way, they cause pain and muscle growth. Your mentality of trying to avoid pain is no longer any good. You shouldn't also have a neutral mentality towards pain. You want the pain. You're here to get pain. I'm here like fucking Mario or Sonic with the fucking coins in the rings. See how far that dates me into time. Just older folks back here, they're like, if it had a little TikToker, they'd be like, I don't know what that is. It's like TikTok, but the Chinese government, I'm kidding, we're going to get banned for that. So you can't have any coins. I'm trying to collect all the fucking pain coins that I can, straight up. When I'm in the position and my quads are feeling good, I want them to not feel good. I slow the eccentric more. I spend more time in the bottom. I do an extra rep. And that entire time my body's saying, go away, leave, get out. This is painful. And I have to reframe. It's something you get with practice. And it even helps to frame when you walk into the gym. I came here for the pain. I want the pain. The pain means growth. The pain's a good thing. Tough to swallow that pill. And power training, you do it quick. Strength training, you do it quick. This shit takes sets and fucking reps, and it's with you. It's nuisance. It's like an old dog you have. You're like, what the hell is it still alive? I'm kidding. Old cat. That might resonate better. You know, like your mom lives with you because she's old and she has like 10 cats and they're seemingly immortal. Why? Why can't we just make the cats go away? Even saying. In any case, let me go drown my quads in lactic acid. Here we go. All right. Okay. That's a pump. Holy crap. So, a couple of approaches to failure. 12, 4, 2. Lots of metabolite buildup, tons of burn. Lots of great eccentric loading. This machine's great for that. You'll notice that's grabbing the handles for stability, but I'm pulling back on the handles, not up. What you really don't want to do is when you're going down, really bracing. When you're going down, ideally you want to just have your fingers on. Maximizes the eccentric loading, the loading on the way down, which is really, really growth promoting. If you want help, help yourself on the way up more than down. That'll actually make it even more muscle growth promoting. So, folks, believe it or not, 2 sets of hamstrings, 2 sets of quads. Ooh, pump's really kicking now. Ooh, not terrible. Not terrible. Weird laying bodybuilding poses. Anyway, that's it. That's my workout. And again, 3 reasons why. 1, just did deload. I could do more. I feel great. I would get way too sore to be ready for my next workout. Reason 2, my next workout's on Friday. This is Tuesday. It's not a once a week leg thing. It's twice a week. If you want to do once a week legs, you totally can. The RP Hypertrophy app supports every single kind of plan. You can put that in there and do it. Ideally, you get a few more exposures to stimulus, less magnitude. Means the ratio of growth to muscle damage is higher, more growth, less damage. Probably better results over time, training legs a little easier twice a week. Still hard every set, just not as many sets versus tons of volume in just once a week. But I did say 3 reasons. First, just deloaded. Second, got to work out in 2 or 3 days. Third, I am the uncrowned laziest bodybuilder on the planet. All that RIR was fake. I never really experienced pain. That old pain talk is just a bunch of bullshit, as you've probably gotten used to by now from me. So, if you got a reputation, you got to uphold that shit. 2 sets and I'm out.